There we are. Hello everyone, my name is Numbek and welcome to tonight's cooking and chatting stream. It is Thursday, June 12th. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday and hope everyone's having a great start to their summer. It is getting really hot in here. But we'll all get through it, right? I'd rather have a hot weather than cold weather any day. And I'm in Texas. Now, tonight is going to be rather simple. We're just going to chat, but most importantly, I am just going to show you guys a very simple fried rice. That's it. So, let's get started. Oops. What's up, Lucifer? Welcome back, man. Stream just started. Give me 1 sec. All good with the audio and everything? Light's a little bit dim, but it's fine. Anyways, I'm cooking one of my favorite meals. I cooked this way too many times. I think you know what it is. It's fried rice. Just simple vegetables, garnishes, and that's it. Anyways, how have you been? There's so many games that I need to play right now that I don't know if I have the money or the time to do it. But cooking wise, I always have the time. Let's see. You can't cook? Well, this is what my stream is made for then. Trust me, there was once upon a time that I can't cook either. If you actually are interested in anyone can cook. There's that old saying in one of my favorite movies, Ratatouille. Not everyone can be a chef, but anyone can cook if they learn how to. If they are willing to learn, of course. And fried rice is a dish that I think everyone can and should learn because it's just how simple it is. To me, it's nothing more than just taking the cheapest ingredients or whatever leftover you have, dump it in a wok, and as long as you have some good ingredients and then some soy sauce, you should be good. So allow me to show you how simple it is. So right now, all you have to do is just chop your vegetables. Simple as that. And if I can cook on a desktop like this, you should be able to cook on your own kitchen. Plus, I'm not using like flames or anything. But I am using a wok, so at the very least, if Uncle Rogers watches this, he won't get mad at me for using a skillet. I don't have any flames because I'm cooking right beside my computer. It's not really in the kitchen. Anyways, all right. Watch how simple it is. Turn the heat all the way up to high and just wait. Once it gets pretty hot, dump the oil in. You know, cooking and listening to jazz music is not something that I particularly expected, but it's all cool. I'm starting to enjoy it. The only issue I have is I have a mic stand right here that is blocking my view. So, all right, good. Wok's getting hot. You need a good amount of oil, believe it or not, because the oil is not only for the rice, but the veggies, the eggs, and everything else. Get ready with your egg. This is the way I cook my fried rice. There are a couple of variations, but this is the way I do it. The most important thing for this is just cold, or rather day-old rice, and the sauce that you're making. Alright, there's the smoke. Ah, crap. And yes, I've made this dish before. As in, I made it in my restaurant and when I was in the dorm. This is one of my comfort food. It's either fried rice or rice with tomatoes and eggs. Those are almost my favorite. I guess it's not as comforting now because of how expensive the eggs are, but we're good. Alright, depending on how hot the oil gets, or excuse me, your wok gets, this will be much easier. But since I'm cooking on a stovetop, electric, I'm gonna have to cook it a little bit further than I like. You can actually feel the rice like this. It's a little bit mushy, mainly because the rice that I use unfortunately is not really a day's old, it's only a couple hours. So there's a lot of water still in there. So what I like to do is just keep on cooking it. You'll feel when the rice is ready, as in when it starts to feel less clumpy and more grainy, a little bit more dry. That's when the rice is ready. Come on. Yeah, no worry, Lucifer. I know you're listening. I can cook, or excuse me, I can actually play games while talking, unless I'm playing FPS or some kind of concentration game, or some games that require concentration. But cooking and talking, I am still not 100% used to. At least not while listening to or looking at chat. So this is something that I'm gonna have to get used to. But do have a listen at the sound of crackling, which is the rice popping. Sounds like popcorn. And the smell with egg and rice is amazing. I wish I can cook for you guys actually. Maybe whenever I get my life together and saved enough money, I will reopen my restaurant again. I won't be doing fried rice though. I'm thinking about fried chicken and chicken sandwiches this time, which in my opinion is a lot easier to sell. Alright. As you can see, there's a lot of steam coming off because there's just way too much water. And the last thing you want is a fried rice that is too watery. It gets gummy, cluttery, and disgusting. As I stated yesterday, fried rice is essentially our Asian version of casserole. It's cheap, simple, easy, and it's mainly made from leftover food, hence the leftover rice. And then you got whatever veggie or meat you want in there. Funny enough, I had my favorite kind of fried rice is just vegetables, and the only protein I really want are eggs and tofu. I don't know why. Same thing with pad thai. I prefer tofu as my protein instead of everything else. Alright, I cooked out most of the water the best I can. So you can see it's less clumpy. Well, still somewhat clumpy, but it's less clumpy now. If I had the rice correctly, where it's all dried up, this would have taken maybe about a minute. And if I actually used flame and a proper wok, it would have taken 30 seconds. Alright, that's it. Now you just add your leftovers or anything you have in the fridge. Just make sure to toss them correctly, let them cook, because every time you put these in, they have their own water. So make sure to cook them properly. You could add whatever you want. You can add garlic, you could add onions, whatever. The only issue is right now I don't have scallions, which is green onions. And some people even at the end add a little bit of lime juice. I prefer lime on the side, but I don't have lime right now. Oh, see, this is why you want a... I know you guys cannot smell it, but I can smell the smoke from the wok, and that's what you call wok hay. That's what you want in a fried rice. If you're going to cook this dish in a skillet... Hey Ned, is that you?
Yep, it's me.
Alright, cool. Thanks for coming in, man. Not many people today. It's fine. Stream just started. Making fried rice right now. And hopefully it looks pretty good to you. Very colorful.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
If only you could smell it. It's got that smoky flavor that I always want that every fried rice needs. This is why cooking on a wok is almost a must. Now, my secret sauce. This is the sauce that I use in my restaurant, by the way. It's my own blend of formula. I'm not gonna share with y'all. Though. Alright. I added in the middle just so that I can evaporate a lot of the water. And then once it evaporates, most of it, I fold the rice back in. And that's how I get the flavor out of it. The last thing you want is like a wet fried rice. Okay, there we go.
Also, how have you been
Sorry?
today? How have you been?
How have I been? It's been great.
Yeah.
I went. It's been a good day. Went out and did some shopping, and of course I went to work. My boss still hasn't paid me yet, but he wants me to finish all the houses before paying me because it's easier on him, which is understandable. Looks like the good thing is I can eat more fried rice now because it looks like the price of eggs is dropping. It used to be like $4.50, almost $5 where I am. Now it's back to like right around $2.99 or something like that, I think. Great.
Sorry.
That's it.
Oh yeah, just got off call with a friend. We were looking through some wiki pages of like random analog horror series. And now I'm here.
Is that right? That sounds good.
Yeah, it was
Well-
surprisingly fun. Just looking through a bunch of wiki pages.
It's basically just hanging out, you know? Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Alright, see some of this char of the rice? There's some of the blacks on there. That's a char from the wok. And that gives this fried rice that smoke flavor. A smoky smell as well. There you go. Fried rice with tofu. It's basically just a leftover meal. Leftover rice, and then some simple frozen vegetables, some fresh ones. The only thing that's missing is two things. Scallions, which is green onions, and then some lime wedges on the side. And that's all. Man, I want to eat this, but I find myself editing my videos, and I did not like the sound of me eating and talking at the same time. So that's why I'm not going to eat it, even though I want to. The thing about fried rice, guys, is that you have to eat it immediately. After about, I would say maybe 10 minutes, the flavor from the soy sauce evaporates. Hold on. Hey, Mom. All right, here's your meal. Can you hurry it up? Oh, and I'll eat it straight off the wok, because the wok is already heated. If you dump it onto a plate, then it's gonna get cold. There you go. It's heavy. Okay. That's it. It took me about less than 10 minutes to make that meal. It's that simple. So if I can do that, you guys can do that. What was I saying? Oh, stir fries. Ned, I don't know how familiar you and Lucifer are with stir fried food, chow mein, pad thai, or fried rice. You had fried rice before, right?
Yes.
So the thing with stir fry, and the thing with most Chinese food is that they're all stir fried, wok stir fried, right? And the thing with these Chinese foods is that they taste absolutely delicious when it's fresh, as in literally minutes off from the wok. They have to be served immediately. And that's why I do not recommend places like Panda Express. You know why? Because if you've ever been to Panda Express, it's buffet style. When you go over there and have their fried rice, there's a reason they don't taste the same, because it's not exactly their fault. What I realized when I served my fried rice in my restaurant is that I had a couple of reviews, right, on Yelp and Google that says my chow mein or my fried rice or my pad thai lacked flavor. And I was like, what do you mean it lacked flavor? I literally seasoned it and I tasted it before serving it to you. It took me about, I want to say, half a year to figure out why. and it's that for some reason, stir frying with soy sauce like these, after about 10 minutes, the soy sauce flavor literally evaporates away. So that's why if you go to Panda Express, you have their fried rice. It tastes more like salty, oily rice than soy sauce. That's why. So that's why I don't really recommend takeout Chinese food as much, because unless you can have it immediately and you put it in a box, and unless you live like 10 minutes away, the longer that you wait, the more disgusting and less flavor that it has. Just keep that in mind. You guys can try it out yourself. This works with chow mein or pad thai or drunken noodle, whatever it is you want. Anything stir fries, beef and broccoli, something like that, stir fries with oyster sauce or soy sauce, the flavor will be less flavorful. So just keep that in mind, okay?
Yeah, I never knew that before. Interesting.
I don't add salt to my stir fry because all the umami flavors are in here. So when it comes to cooking, there's 5 flavors. There's salty, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami, which is like the most natural flavor of it. So for example, if you don't know, the best way I can describe umami is basically like sweet and sour. There's a difference between like the sourness of a lime compared to the sourness of a lemon. Does that make sense? And there's a difference between beef, if you do not put any salt on it, and the taste of a chicken with no salt. It's called that umami. Everything has a different, unique flavor. Like orange, sweet and sour, does not taste like tomato, even though they're both sweet and sour, because the umami is a little bit different. So when it comes to stir frying, we use soy sauce because soy sauce has that umami taste. It's fermented soybeans, okay? Salt just tastes all salty. It has no umami flavor. So that's why in a lot of Asian cooking, we prefer to use this a lot, because it just there's an extra umami flavor. We still use salt, but like I said, back in the day when my grandma was still alive, or relatively young, salt was extremely expensive, along with sugar. Like any spice from the West is considered like gold, pretty much. And that was why I was surprised. Oh, maybe that's why my grandma's family back then was so wealthy. And when my mom told me that her parents were spice traders, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Man, imagine that. I could have been really wealthy, guys. I could have been really, really wealthy. Shit. I could have been wealthy. I lost my golden ticket. Damn it. Oh well. It's fine.
Can't go back.
Huh?
Can't go back.
Well, it is what it is. I lost quite a bit of money as well. I made some pretty bad decisions. Well, the biggest one was probably my restaurant, which is, I don't know if you heard about this, Ned, is that I own a restaurant and it lasts for maybe about a little bit over 3 years in the location. And I used all of my money for it. I sold all my stocks and savings, insurance, everything. And I opened it right around middle of October 2019. 2019. Yeah. So it's literally a few months before COVID. That sucked balls. Because if I did not open that restaurant, then I would have doubled down on buying stocks. And when I still remember that day, that very day that I saw the stock market crashed and I saw red all over the place. Minus 15%, minus 20, minus 30, minus 40%. I don't know how familiar you guys are with stocks, but I remember driving home and I saw all that, and my hand was literally shaking. And I was shaking with excitement. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe the amount of discounts that it's coming. You guys might not understand what that means, but you're supposed to buy in a bear market. but most people sell because there's the fear. And that's when I told my mom that very night that says, you need to get on Robinhood immediately. And she invested some money and she made a good amount. I wouldn't say much because unfortunately she got addicted. And instead of just investing, say, Microsoft, Apple, or whatever, safe, she tried to do day trading. Fuck. So she didn't lose any money, but she got on the high. She got high on the fact that, oh, I can make X amount of money per day and per day like that, where it was so minuscule that she couldn't even double her investment. Which if she literally just put the money in, let's say, a Microsoft or Walmart, which I told her to do, she would have made like 5 times the amount of money back or something like that. 4 or 5 amount back. And what pisses me off even more is that I told her, hey, you should place maybe $500 or $1,000 on GameStop. That was before the meme thing. And I told her, I was like, look, GameStop right around $8-9 is actually pretty decent. Maybe hold on to it. Just give it $500 or $1,000. Nope, she missed that. And otherwise, she missed AMC as well. So I think that it's one of those things in my life where I had the golden opportunity. It's just that I mistimed it by being too impatient. And that's, if you ask me what my weakness is as a person is that I don't have a lot of patience. When I want something, I just go out and do it and go all the way. If I was a little bit more patient, then I think my life would have been a lot better. But hindsight is 2020, haha. And that's why right now it's good to just invest all the time and energy into something a little bit more productive and live life as simple as possible. So that's my little lesson to you. Don't mean to lecture on you guys though, but these are the things that what they say is true, is that when we are young and you find success or something like that, you tend to go overboard and you kind of let the ego get in the way. And instead of investing money in being smart, because it's actually pretty easy in the US to make money if you're smart about it. It's just most people just piss it all away like I did. And that was before that was the second time I pissed it away. First time I actually pissed it away was actually when I got my own apartment. I got a Mercedes and I got all these new furnitures. Wasted crap ton of money. And that was when I first made really good money in the real estate market. And now real estate is not that good. I can only scramble around to pay the bills and barely have enough money to buy $5 games. So hopefully you guys can take that lesson from me and try to be a little bit more patient. Now don't go out and buy like the latest cryptocurrency or something like that. I don't do those things. But if you are smart and you have some extra cash laying around, invest it in stocks. S&P 500, great. Walmart, okay, good. And just be patient. Eventually your hard work will pay, your patience will be paid off. But again, hindsight is 2020. It is what it is. Ned, will you be here tomorrow to try and jump scare me for playing Five Nights at Wario's tomorrow?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to be there.
Sounds good.
Guarantee, but yeah, I'll try.
No, I'm not forcing you to. I still, like I said, I promised Deflect that I will be finishing that entire series because he gave me a challenge. He issued me a challenge, so I have no choice but to accept it out of my own pride, not ego. So I saw on YouTube that 8-Bit Ryan and I think Doc released early footage of Secrets of the Mimic. I have not seen any of it. So, but from the very few, when you put your cursor on the thumbnail, they play like a few seconds of it. I did see a bit of that, but it looks like that they were playing on regular desktop. I honestly thought that this was supposed to be a VR game though, so I was surprised that they are not in VR. Unless I'm wrong, maybe they don't have VR, but I really doubt that.
Okay, so I did see a playthrough, and I saw one playthrough, and it was desktop, but the game could be maybe both desktop and VR. I don't really know though.
True, but then again, you can say Help Wanted 1 and Help Wanted 2 can be played both ways, but it's obviously intended for VR. You can play Help Wanted 1 and 2 in desktop, but it's just not the same. It runs smoother because it's not VR, but at the end of the day, those games are much more fun and a lot more scary and a lot more more interactive if it's in VR though. I think Dako has a VR, so the fact that he is not playing it in VR kind of bothers me. Maybe there's an issue with it in the beginning, and maybe they're updating into a VR. I'm afraid to look at it, so maybe I thought, okay, maybe this is. I really don't want to wait for a VR version, as in, I want this game to have VR ready in the beginning, even if it has some bugs. Fine, whatever. Hey Zoop, welcome. What did I end up cooking today? Fried rice. Literally takes 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. And that's only because my rice was still a little bit on the wet side. So I'm just showing you, if I was able to cook something that delicious, very simple, in such a short amount of time on a picnic table, you guys should be able to do it in your own house, in a proper kitchen, you know. In my opinion, fried rice is the best way to create leftovers, use leftovers to create something delicious. You could have leftover broccolis. You can add something a little bit more nutritious, maybe like a little bit of kale and spinach. It's not really traditional, but it's fine. It doesn't ruin the flavor. But you saw how easily it was. Just stir fry the rice, put your ingredients in, put the sauce in, boom, there you have it. Very simple. Hey, Seabass, I think. Welcome back. Good to see you. Well, I guess doesn't have his mic on. But either way, I was just talking to Ned here about my concerns with Secrets of the Mimic. Oh, speaking of which, here.
I was trying to scare you. It did not work.
Well, duh, I'm not playing a horror game. Of course it didn't. Here, my concern with...
You saw I joined.
What's that?
You saw I joined, so it didn't work.
Of course it didn't work. Well, either way, here, guys, here's an issue. Okay, I'm not gonna look any of this. I don't know what I'm looking at anyway. There's an issue that I have concerns with, which is why have they not shown a release, or excuse me, the price for it? I believe it's like $40. Why have they not released put a price tag on it though? Is it not ready? Why does it still say where compared to say Silent Hill F? This game is not to be out until end of September, and it's already got the price. So why is this game not have it?
Yeah, that's very odd.
I don't like it when developers do this. If it's not ready, then just say so. And if they want to delay it, so be it. I don't mind that. And again, I was telling Ned, and you guys can chip in on this, there was early gameplay access by Dako as well as 8-Bit Ryan. Neither are playing it in VR. If, for example, Help Wanted 1 and Help Wanted 2 are available, there's no doubt in my mind that they would play it in VR. So why would they do that?
I also saw that Corey X Kenshin and Fusion Z Gamer also got to play it early. I watched Fusion's video and he was again using desktop to play.
What?
So it looks
Fusion
like it's
is...
going to be mainly a desktop thing, since there hasn't really been anything for VR as of now.
It's not, the VR is not available right now? Is that what you're saying?
I don't believe so. Otherwise, I think some people would be playing it.
What?
Because
That's wild. Here, let me see. VR, there you go. There's a tag for VR. So does that mean that VR is not available as of right now?
I'm assuming either that or, yeah, I'm not sure. They're either going to maybe release VR when the full game is out, or release it the VR version way after.
But that doesn't make any sense. That's like a full update. VR, the game is like completely different from the desktop experience. And I do not know the gameplay for this game. I do not know whether it's like a mini game version, like Help Wanted 1 and 2, or is it going to be like a 3D semi-open world like Security Breach or Poppy Playtime. So I am curious, but it really bums me out, considering the fact that I was looking forward to the VR version of this game. That really bums me out. Damn it. And I don't really want to play it like twice, where I play a desktop and then play it in VR. No, I want to play it as you know, as scary as it can be. Because if I already played it once, then I kind of know what's coming, which ruins it.
Also, there is actually something I noticed in like how the gameplay functions. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, because it's kind of hard to explain, but like when you're like pulling a lever or pulling a crank in the game, it's like you have to physically move your mouse. So
Okay. So it's like if there's a crane, I probably press the left mouse to hold it, and then like do this, or left and right, or something like that, or in a circle merge motion, I believe.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of how you would do it in VR, but it's with a mouse.
But that's not as intuitive as VR, though, right? What makes VR so hard to get correctly is the motion controls, right? That's what I think. But it's also more interactive. I don't mind that. Like, doing a crane with the motion of your mouse is completely different than doing it with a VR controller. I get that. But jeez, I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed if that's the case. I was really looking forward to it, since my last impression of Steel Wolves game was, what was it? Into the Pit, which I think was pretty good, but it wasn't all that scary. A 2D game. And it was too easy.
Different studio, not Steel Wool.
Oh, okay. Then it's then it's pretty bad, since my last the last one that I played, the last game that I played that they were the developer was Security Breach, but it wasn't the main game. It was Ruin. I did not even finish that game, that DLC, because the puzzles was incredibly repetitive. That going back to the pizzeria as the new girl, I think I quit at least maybe halfway through. I think I just met Roxy, but it wasn't scary, and the whole glitch thing, it was really hard to play on the console, and I basically dropped it. I did see the ending because I want to know what is going on. So you guys don't have to worry about spoilers, but gameplay wise, I thought that DLC was not that fun. Quite repetitive. At least Security Breach, like, it has different variety of gameplays, like where you fight Monty is completely different from the one where you're trying to escape from Roxy, and then trying to lure Chica into that giant area before she gets crushed. Spoilers. So yeah, it just damn it. I was really looking forward to it. I'm not hating on it, but the last impression that they gave me was not fantastic. And yeah.
Well, at least in my opinion, from what I saw, the game looks fine so far. Definitely it's definitely a lot more optimized. Like, it's not another security breach from what I saw.
Well, I was actually expecting them to do Security Breach VR. Guess I got that one wrong because I thought that they would just go all in on the cash grab. You know, I would play Security Breach again if they just put it in VR. I really would, but I guess they didn't take that. Wouldn't you want to play through that entire game? Think about it. I'm sure all of you have played Security Breach, right? So if they added VR into it, would you guys actually play it again? I would, since it would definitely be an experience.
I've never really played VR, but I would probably give it a shot.
You never play VR? Do you have one? Do you have a VR set?
No. No. I've never experienced a VR game a day in my life.
Ah. Well, then I can tell you that it's probably not worth it right now. It's not worth it because other than a few games, less than a handful, there's not that many support for it. The only thing that I can see people get VR is if they are into the the adult entertainment section, and then I was like, okay, maybe that works. That would make sense. But playing games on a VR, I can tell you, it is very, very immersive. If you find a game scary, I promise you, it takes up the horror level at least threefolds. Okay, I promise you that. At the same time, the VR Quest, the headset I have for Quest 3, it does require you to have a pretty good PC unless you're playing. I don't know. I have no comments on the PlayStation VR 2, but it does take a toll on your GPU. At the same time, it's hard on your eyes and your head because you're wearing like a strap and something that is kind of heavy. So it doesn't. There's not much airflow. So the inside of where you're, where you see right here, it gets really, really sweaty. And the worst about it is motion sickness, which I felt really sick when I started playing it. However, it can also work in its favor depending on the game, because in a horror, if you feel dizzy, you feel uncomfortable, it actually adds a bit to the horror aspect, which actually what makes it really good. So take it with it what you will. Zoop is saying I would hit in a heartbeat. Any horror VR gets me off my feet. Any good horror game, at least. I know. I thought about getting this as well. Alien Rogue Isolation. Trust me, this would make me wet my pants. But like I said, it's kind of expensive, and I've already saved up for, Mimic. So this is why the news is so bothersome to me. That is it not available in VR in the beginning? And if there is not, why would I buy it right now? And I'd rather have the main meat have first, like the biggest dish first, and then play it in desktop later. So, and as Zoop would say, any game with VR would be good. So in my opinion, why not take all these horror games that I played before and just put them in VR? They don't even have to do motion controls. Just if there is a way to, make the game into a first person, into a VR version, any horror game, any of these, Chilla's Art, whatever, I'm all good. I'm all in. It just creates an environment that makes you uncomfortable. But yeah, damn it, keep an eye on it for me, okay, guys? Ned's, if there's a VR version, because I just don't want to spoil myself on any of the game.
If anything comes up.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just a lot more suspicious when it comes to any games in terms of development, because, you have to be careful with all these pre-orders, and you got to set your expectations a little bit on the lower side. Very rarely does a game right now like blow me out of the water. very rarely. So with all these shady practices a lot of these big companies are doing, I don't think that Steel Wool is doing it on purpose, but they did advertise it quite well as a VR game. And if early review copies it doesn't have VR in it, then it gets me kind of bumped out, because I really was my Quest 3 is right there, and it's just collecting dust. I've not used it since. I tried watching like 8K, 4K videos on there, like 360 videos on YouTube. It's not there. It's not there because you can easily tell that you're looking at a big screen. Eventually, when the VR quality gets better, I think it's like 8K, so maybe like 32K, then we can talk. But we are very far off on that technology as of right now. And plus I am playing VR with a USB, if you didn't know this, Ned, or anyone else, because of the data transfer between the PC to the headset is quite marginally, like, it's pretty big. There's like maybe like a 1 second delay-ish from what I find. And if your VR set gets the connection is lost, the game could crash, you don't know what is going on, all sorts of bugs happening. So this is why if you're going to play in VR, you probably need to play it wired, because it also keeps the battery charged, and the battery goes down very, very fast, despite the fact that it's like one of the better ones. And no, I've never tried the Apple one or any of the other $1,000 Valve Index one. It's just not there. But man, if I am able to play Silent Hill, any of these games, Joy of Creation, first-person games in VR, I'd be over the moon. And I think that might be the next big thing. The industry just needs to figure it out. You know how right now we are in a remake, a remake revolution. Instead of like new IPs, we are going all the way back to dig up old games and do remakes and remasters, etc., right? It's pretty obvious. But the next thing I think could be what boosts the industry is definitely VR. Just take the freaking motion controls out, okay? Just make it purely POV. Oh, and Ned, I don't know how far you are with your work on a game, but this is itch.io. Huh? Oh, hold on. There we go. If I were to make a horror game right now, but I don't have a lot of experience, I would probably ask you these are the type of horror games that I'm into right now, but they're like 10-15 minutes long. Nothing wrong with it, but they're still pretty hard to develop since they're 3D environments. But if you look at here, top rated, there's Doki Doki Literature Club, and it's a visual novel. I do recommend you play it. And these are the games that I think a new developer could make, especially when you said that you're like doing a lot of arts, right? Well, visual novel games are nothing but art and text. And the horror aspect of this game comes in the form of messing with your mind, psychological horror. Now you would look at this and think that there's no way this is a horror game, and that was my impression of it. And boy, I was in a surprise on how how much it affected me mentally. To this day, I still have a little bit of mental scar from Monica. She still creeps the F out of me. She still does. Yeah, at the same time, I do find her rather adorable and attractive in a weird way, even though she's a bloody psycho.
If I ever do develop any more games, I wouldn't be opposed to a 2D horror game made up of my horror art. I think that would be a cool thing to explore one day.
Are you good at writing dialogues and stuff? Because the dialogue, I wouldn't say the dialogue is like all that interesting in the in Doki Doki. Boo my ass, Seabass. I wouldn't say the dialogue is like super in depth. I mean, if you look at this, she simply parts her lips as if the situation was completely natural. It's just normal. Just when it comes to horror games, it's all about trying to. This game, along with others, and this is why I say your art really reminds me of that style. And it's that went from something that is very innocent and, you know, looks completely normal, and then all of a sudden flip it on its back, do a 180, and that's when it really F's with you. In this game, it does that constantly. I was like, what is this supposed to be, like a horror game? And then I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Flips it back around saying, oh, look at the cute music and stuff. So that it really messed with me psychologically, and it's something that I'm not used to. It's like twisting my heart, and yet somehow I'm attracted to it. It sounds weird, but yeah, give it a try with yours. It doesn't have to be romances. It also can be like with your art. I remember seeing it like being somewhat kid friendly. So using like little kids, but it turns out they're actually like, I don't know, demons or something. Yeah, that works. So with your art, it'd be something like, hey, these are the cool little kids that are starving and they're orphans or something like that. You invite them to your house, trying to adopt them, give them a good life, and that basically you grow an attachment to them in a sort of way, and then weird things starts to happen, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna adopt a dog, and then you can go from there on how messed up it's gonna be. You know what I mean?
I do have this flower character. You've probably seen him before in the art channel, where there's a friendly mascot version and then the creature version. I think that character would be decent for that type of thing, because again, there's a friendly, cute version and then the more spooky version of the character.
I mean, that sounds fine, but you have to understand that it's just the gameplay comes first, and it's okay if it's a visual novel. But the visual novel gameplay is very simple because it's just purely dialogue options, right? Where compared to, say, these games, they could be 2D, like looking left and right, could be 3D, could be like semi open world. But then there's Undertale, best ones. I haven't played too many of these because Undertale is something that I really treasure and didn't want to mess with. But Undertale Yellow blew me away. I don't know if I like it more than the original, but man, this was such a good game. Goated soundtrack, and I played Underswap. I believe it was the first 2 chapters, and that one was quite good as well. Not sure if you're a fan of Undertale though.
I still have yet to check out the series or anything related to it, but I would be down. I think it's, like, I like indie games, and Undertale looks interesting from what I've seen of it.
If you're not into it, at least just look at the music, because it's got some godlike music in there. A little bit on the cheesy side too, but the Undertale Yellow, on one of the routes that you choose, the final battle with the final boss, I work out to that music. I work out to that music.
But yeah, going back to the gameplay thing, if I ever were to do a 2D game, it'd probably be like a point-and-click type deal, if that makes any sense.
Well, yeah. If it's 2D, then it can only be a point and click, right? Well, because Undertale is not a point and click. It's just 8-bit, kind of like Pokemon. I guess that be kind of the traveling section. But if it's just point and click, then you can either do something like Five Nights at Freddy's, just looking left and right, close the door, turn the lights on, something like that. Or like I said, or you can do the purely visual novel stuff. It all depends. All I'm saying is that visual novel focuses way more on the visual and the story, where Freddy's is mainly a little bit more on the atmosphere and the gameplay. I consider Five Nights at Freddy's a puzzle game, if that makes any sense. All you have to do is just, the scariest is always the beginning of the game, where you do not know what to do, hence the fear. But once you figure this out, their patterns, you're like, okay, this is how I can defend myself, blah, blah, blah. Then it gets easier and easier. But then the game also gets tougher with the, more constrained timings and stuff. And that's what I find rather intriguing. Where Five Nights at Wario's 3, that threw me for a loop because I thought that I did not expect it to be like Joy of Creation, where every night has a different gameplay. It was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. That's definitely my favorite out of the Wario series. 3 is 3 right now.
Okay, so here's how it would probably go if I were to do a 2D game in my art style. Maybe something like FNAF, where you have different threats that you need to deal with in different ways, but the gameplay, you have to actively traverse the level by clicking on different doors while dealing with these threats. I imagine something like that.
Really? Huh. Well,
I feel like something like that could be an interesting idea.
it's an idea, all right. But if you're talking about something like that, then I would say this is probably the game that somewhat fits what you're talking about. I don't know if you heard of it.
Oh, I've heard of it. I have heard of it, but I've never really seen anything on it besides like images.
It's kind of like a fusion between regular gameplay of regular FNAF, but also a visual novel gameplay as well. In this game, it's probably arguably the top 3, maybe even the scariest FNAF fan game that I've played, alongside with maybe 4. Because
now
this
at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers.
what was I saying? This one, I did beat it, but man. Oops. All right, let's go back to the lo-fi one. So as I was saying, this one, it's got that visual novel as well, but it's in the black and white bit. The entire game is black and white. In order to proceed, for example, if you can see this image right here, you can either go into this area or this area. This is a still image, but you also have to like hear the sound of, and that's the gameplay part. If, say for example, Freddy is here, you hear a sound, don't go in there, you'll die. Something like that. But this game may be extremely uncomfortable, say the least. You should check it out. It's free, of course. I played through it, and like if I played this game purely in VR, this is I would lose it because it's just how dark it is. Okay.
And another thing I would imagine for a 2D game, you see my profile picture, the blue creature thing.
Yeah, I see it.
It's a character that I've been drawing for a while, and it's almost like a mascot for my art, and I would imagine it as like the main threat or one of the threats in a game like that.
So it's this guy?
Yeah. No. My Discord. You know what? I'm gonna go unpost the art of it. shouldn't be. Yeah, I made it fairly recently. A updated. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, I'm gonna post the art that my profile picture uses.
Hmm.
A fairly simple design, but I think it's effective in creepiness.
It needs. I think the visual design is great. It's just that I can only go so much on a 2D image, right? I mean, if you show me Freddy's face, I was like, why would I find him scary? It has to have some meat in the background. It has to have some lore, and of course the gameplay mechanics, as well as the environment. Just showing the character and it's like, do you find this character scary? I was like, well, there's not enough to go on it, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, but the characters need to like do something that would justify that fear,
Exactly.
or have something going for them.
Like if I say Springtrap, if I show someone, do you find this guy scary? I was like, well, no, I don't find him scary. He just looks stupid, or it's like he looks withered, whatever. But if you put him in FNAF 3, the environment, you know, the sounds that he makes, and then his story, then of course he becomes way scarier. But if you're just showing me his face, it's like, what am I looking at here? He looks goofy as hell, like a zombie cosplayer of a rabbit. So yeah, no.
Yeah, I actually do have a pretty good example. It's actually very similar to Springtrap, another one of my characters. It's Cherry Drillhead. I'm gonna post art of him. Like, he's a very similar example.
Ice Cream Man.
And basically, he's similar in the fact that he's possessed by a serial killer, and he's a wooden puppet type character.
Oh, like Chucky's then, right?
Yeah, except a much bigger doll. And yeah,
Not bad. You have a style which is I like, which is like these the eyes, the void in their eyes when they're like a little bit of, you know, a very small pupil, but the eyes and the wide eyes, and it's you know, it's a very simple way to get a character become really creepy.
yeah, I pride myself in my very unique art style. I don't think I've seen anything quite like it. Like, obviously, I've seen art styles that are similarly creepy, but not exactly like it.
Well, Joey is asking me why they don't put Freddy in Fortnite. My guess, you have to ask Scott Calton. Probably because he doesn't like the idea of Freddy shooting people with a gun. That's not scary, it's just goofy. I guess they haven't paid him enough or something. But, I mean, let me see if this Dante Devil May Cry, is it in Fortnite? Are they in Fortnite? He's not in Fortnite. Is he in Fortnite? Potential character. See, there you go. Joey, my favorite character is not in Fortnite, so Freddy is not in there, so you just gotta wait it out. Hey, what's up, Squid? How are you? Good to see you.
I remember hearing that, like, some Fortnite fans were mad that Freddy was going to be in, or Springtrap was going to be in Dead by Daylight, but not Fortnite, because people were speculating that there was going to be a Fortnite collab, but no, it was a Dead by Daylight thing. And
Well,
apparently-
this is real. I know that. But this one makes sense to me because they're both horror games. It's like, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
so then that makes sense. Where I don't know, Fortnite is like a meme collector. You want your character to go on there because they become memes or something. I don't even know if Freddy is now really the main mascot anymore, because he's not really a bad guy. It's more Springtrap. Although
Yeah, like-
Springtrap does not really have that name to him. Freddy Fazbear, something like that.
Yeah.
Yo, Squid, I know. Gotta make video on it. I was just discussing it, you know, with Ned right here on Discord. You're welcome to join, by the way. This is my voice chat. You don't need, invite or anything like that. I am actually quite disappointed to the fact that, you know how, Fusion and the other guys, they released some early footage videos. Why don't they have VR version of it? They're playing on desktop, which to me is kind of baffling considering the fact that they actually sold it to me as a VR game. So, is it not ready on day one? And you probably would beat it first, because you better beat it before I do, because I can't play it tomorrow. I still gotta finish Five Nights at Wario's, the entire series, and then I gotta do Terraria, if I can finish that one. Then I gotta do Deltarune, and then I can do Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe then they can, you know, they can release the VR version. Don't spoil it for me, by the way, guys. I don't want to know any gameplay. Just want to know, is VR available tomorrow? Oh, and one more thing that Squid, I gotta tell you, the fact that they did not reveal the price, and I actually had to go and look it up. What is it? Secrets of the Mimic price. Like okay, how much is it? PlayStation Store. $39.99 on the PlayStation Store, but not in Steam. That's kind of weird. You're still probably going to BU? Probably. Squid. Of course,
But
of course.
But yeah, Dead by Daylight makes way more sense because it's way more horror focused with like a bunch of horror icons in the roster of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Than just,
Not a bad
like,
price. Squid is saying it's not a bad price. I'm not complaining about the price. I think the price is actually quite good. For, what is it, 40 bucks? Okay, compared to, like, say right now games are going for $70, $80. Of course. But if it's 40 bucks, is it going to be like overly big like Security Breach? Or is it just going to be a couple of mini games like Help Wanted 1 or 2? Don't answer that. I don't want to know right now. So, and I got to get off this. I don't want to look at it anymore. I don't want to see any pictures. I'm just, okay, they're out of my head. Great. Security Breach was buns. Hopefully they do better. You know, I don't hate Security Breach. There are parts I genuinely find kind of scary. Especially that near the end where you are surrounded by all those endos. That was quite scary to me. And I did develop a good relationship with, you know, Glamour, Freddy. But the thing is, I played through that game without really utilizing Freddy because he's kind of like a cheat code. So I didn't really develop it. The game did not force me to use him enough, if you get what I mean. And then there's also the glitches and the bugs and the weird sections that are just kind of wonky. But that's also part of the charm of Security Breach. I guess you can say it got a little bit challenging, a little bit scarier at the end. But if you're out in the mall, it's not scary. It has to be like either underground or in one of those weird areas where it's like almost dark. So I just hope that this one is actually scary. Yeah. Anyways.
I completely agree with that. Like, not my favorite. Security Breach, not my favorite, but it had some good parts that I liked. The endoskeleton section being one of those parts.
I agree.
This is like a podcast that I'm just listening to.
That's not a problem, is it? I hope you're not getting bored. You're welcome to join the conversation.
Also, I wonder when Dark Deception Chapter 5 is coming out. Haven't heard from that game in a while.
Yep. I have it on here, Dark Deception Chapter 5. I'm excited for it. I really am.
Yes, I've seen a couple, like, I haven't seen any videos on it, just like thumbnails, and I'm quite excited. I really do love the first 4 chapters. I think they're very unique and they have a great story.
Oh yeah, story is actually quite good. The only issue that I thankfully they fixed was, I believe someone told me that Markiplier played it when it was first released, and they did not have like the. It was brutally hard, as in if you died 5 times, you start over or something like that, or is it, or you died once, you do not, you start all over again, as in like, all the ones you collected are reset. And when I saw that, I was like, there's no way I would ever even attempt this. Because during that second chapter with the mansion, oh my freaking god, I got so pissed off at some of the, at the level. Because you basically have endos chasing you in a maze. And if I only have 5 lives and they do not, and if I die just once, I automatically respawn, I don't even think I would attempt that game. That's how brutal it was.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's a great thing they fixed that because that is wild.
that's wild.
Now,
That's
some people-
speedrunner difficulty. That's not just max difficulty. That's speedrunner difficulty right there. And Joey is saying you have no idea why they don't make a Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's in a. Well, you said you have an idea. Why don't they make a Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's in a casino, and in the gameplay they have mini games where you have to win Russian roulette against Balloon Boy. That sounds interesting. It might work in, like, say, I don't know, Help Wanted 1 and Help Wanted 2. Again, I don't know how they're gonna do it, because I guess you gotta keep it somewhat PG, because if you're talking about casino, then it's gambling, kids, whatever. There are certain aspects they probably will not go into, because you can, obviously, you guys seen all the fan-made FNAF games, right? They're way darker and way scarier than, say, the OG. Because the OG, from what I've known, the story as convoluted as it is, William Afton is the bad guy. He found a way to, I don't know, live forever by, you know, killing kids, taking their souls, something like that. And then he found a way to live forever. Basically, your typical Voldemort, Harry Potter stuff, right? Well, you could easily make this series a lot darker by, say, I don't know, make William Afton a cannibal. Or you take some very questionable things other than just murder. Say the R-A-P and, you know, the last word. And then something a little bit more sinister if he was a P-E-D-O. I'm not going to finish that word. You understand what I mean. You can make it so much darker, but I think Scott just, in terms of what he has with his series, because it's his IP, he wants to be scary, but he also wants to keep it a little bit on the cleaner side. You know what I mean?
I do understand that. Like there are some routes that some topics I personally myself wouldn't really touch. Like, as dark as most of my work is, like you were saying. Like, there's just some stuff I wouldn't really feel comfortable handling in my stuff, personally.
That makes sense. I think that's what makes FNAF so unique, and it's that if before I even discovered FNAF, right, there's a couple of genres of horrors. Action horror. So you got your Resident Evil, right? You play as a badass, Leon Kennedy, Jill Valentine, and all that stuff. It's horror, but you're playing it, but you do feel empowered, right? You're playing a really badass character. And then there's psychological horror, which is you're very weak, and this is where it's like things like Silent Hill comes in. It's psychological torture. When it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's, in other words, people named it as a mascot horror. I think that's I don't think the mascot is really fitting. To me, it's more PG-friendly horror. If you get out what I mean.
Yo.
What's up?
Yo, do you play World of Warcraft?
If I play World of Warcraft, no, I have. Now that you asked it, I said this story yesterday where I played the MMORPG that I played the most was RuneScape. And when my friends tried to get me into StarCraft and Warcraft, I was like, I do not have the time for it. My parents would literally throw me out with the amount of time I spent on it. So I never really tried it. And I saw people. I tried StarCraft. I'm not Korean enough, smart enough to to play it because I got absolutely demolished. So no, I never even tried it because I was so afraid that it's like a drug, and if I get into it, I was like, oh no, not this again, no.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yo, where do you find all your games that you play?
Where do I find all my
those
games?
Kinda like the indie ones. Like, where do you even find those?
2 websites. Here, I'll show you. So
Well, 'cause
there's 2.
I know Game Jewel. I got that.
Itch.io
You
then.
just like scroll through it.
Itch.io is the other one then.
Itch.io. Nice.
Itchy.io is this one. Itch.io. There we go. This is the other one.
Oh, that's cool.
And basically this is where I discovered games like well, I didn't discover it, but I realized that Doki Doki Literature Club came from this. So if you look at top rated, here it is. It's still on there. If you guys can play it on PC, do it because it's free. I paid $12 on the PS5. I want my goddamn money back, and plus it was censored. Asshole. And then the last one was this one, My Side. If you like Doki Doki, you'll like this one, My Side. My Side.
You play like mostly horror genre, or do you like go into other games off stream? It's like Valorant or whatever, like Call of Duty.
I play action and strategy and RPGs. My favorites are usually Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden, those kind of games. Onimusha, and yes, I know about the new one. I'm very happy about it, but I'm going in with a level of skepticism. And then the RPG ones like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, and Mass Effect. Those are the games that I personally prefer. No offense, but I don't particularly like playing online multiplayer games because the last time I did that was in Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare 2, COD 2. I'm an old school guy, and that was when I just pretty much had it with the amount of stupidity.
It's just the community.
It's just
the
I
community.
hate
It's so
everyone.
funny.
Like I hate everyone. When I do well, I get cussed out for being a cheat. When I do bad, I get cussed out for being a noob. And I hated everyone. And I realized one day I was like, you know what? I don't want to play this anymore. I don't like this. It's making my mood sour, and it's not making my life better. So I just dropped it. I play
like
video games
campaign?
to escape. What's that?
Yeah. Do you like campaign games like Halo or like God of War or Elden Ring or something?
I do. I'm one of the few ones who actually like playing Call of Duty campaign. But eventually they get so stupidly cheesy and over the top, and eventually I just stopped. I stopped after Modern Warfare. I played 1, which is actually my favorite. 2 was like, okay, this is as good as it's gonna get. 3 was repetitive, and then you got Black Ops 1 and 2, and then after that I was like, I'm done with Call of Duty. No, because they
Do you like World at
focus
War?
more- What's that?
Because World at War was one of my favorites. World at War. Call of Duty World at War.
I was gonna tell you about that, and that I never played anything horror-like. I only started playing horror when I started streaming last year. So you can put zombie in there, I would not be interested. That's why. So that's how much I did not get into the horror genre, because horror is pretty much my kryptonite, and I do not like horror because I do not like to get scared. Thus, the reason why my friends, high school and beyond, they always try to get me to watch horror films with them, and I just can't. I guess when I started streaming, I was like, well, there's a few times that my friends that I say and do and react in the most funniest way, and I play horror games. I was like, well, maybe I should just do that then. I'm not that good of a gamer, but I can be entertaining by playing horror games. So my first one was Bloodborne.
Okay.
It took me I lasted for maybe about 30 minutes because I absolutely despise Yharnam. And I think a lot of the Bloodborne community took offense to that. And I mean it in the kindest way possible. It's not because the game is bad. It is just so traumatizing to me that I did not feel like going on. And then I finished it
Yeah.
later. Okay? But after
At least you
Bloodborne...
finished
Yep. And then Bloodborne, after Bloodborne, I was like, I don't know what to play. So they started recommending me other stuff, which was starting with Doki Doki. And I saw it right here, and I was like, okay, this looks like a dating simulation. I was like, I can't believe I'm about to play this kind of game. Because I was expecting it to be your normal anime game. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd never touch these. I like anime, but I never touch these things. Because they're just so bloody embarrassing. And even more embarrassing the fact that a 34, 33-year-old guy playing this kind of game. I mean, I have some shame. I have some levels of self-respect, okay? But if you're into it,
Yeah.
great. All on you. And then as I played it, I was like, this is getting kind of interesting. And then some of these weird stuff starts happening, like the glitches. And then it's like, what did you just say to me? Was that a threat or a warning? And then it just F's with my mind, you know? It really effed me up mentally. Yet at the end of when I finish this game, I find myself pleasantly, I was like, that was actually a pretty good experience. So I started playing more horror games. And then it was Until Dawn, cheesy, but I got through it. And then it was Five Nights at Freddy's and Beyond. There you go.
Okay. Huh. Oh, that's cool. Anyway, I have to go head out to work, so I'll just
Join me again.
Appreciate it.
I'm here every
Yeah,
night,
man, I
so
got you.
my voice chat is open. I'm gonna start playing more games. If I'm playing a story game, just no spoilers. You guys can give me tips. Or even
Okay.
better, if I was playing in VR and playing horror games, I think it might make an interesting stream where you guys can come in whenever you want and just start either chatting or scare me,
Uh-huh.
giving me tips
Okay.
and stuff, and I would probably lose my shits. So
Okay, I appreciate you, Nutmeg. I'll talk to you later, man.
sounds good. Have a good one. All right. I actually did not know who was actually talking. I don't know if that was Joey or whatever, but I'm just looking at these avatars. Squid is on here, so it's probably not Squid, so I'm guessing that might be Joey. Anyway, sorry about that. I didn't look at you, Joey. Anyways, see how
back-
good I am at being a talker? Why couldn't you guys just give me this instead of forcing me to play traumatic games? But yeah, this is why. If you guys can actually talk to me, give me a voice, I promise you, I'm a very interesting person.
Yo, Nutmeg. This is
What's up?
Squid.
What's up, man?
Do you play what's it called? Yo, try playing Roblox. They got some scary games on there. Not gonna lie. They got some pretty good ones too.
I believe you, because Hall was actually kind of scary, and then the other one was FNAF Reimagined 2. I think they did an update on that. Which one do you
That
recommend?
one's cool. I'm not gonna
Alright.
lie. I played the reimagined one, and then I made it into a video. But then I was like, damn, this game is kind of boring. So I scrapped all of it.
I tried. Let's see, which one's the game that you recommended? And if it's like one of those where you have a lot of people coming in, I'm not so sure. It's just because if you have a lot of people come in and playing a horror game, it really takes away a lot of the horror aspect. It becomes like it went from like something traumatic to your average high school haunted house tour. So it's like, haha, you scared me.
Yeah, it's for me, like, it's just creepier to be on your own. Like, even in general, at the dead of night, you're the only one awake. I don't know, just has that feeling.
No, I completely understand. I actually, although I'm not a fan of horror, because I don't like to get scared, I am kind of intrigued by it. And there's a couple of things called phobias, right? I am arachnophobia. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically afraid of things with like a lot of legs, like centipedes, millipedes, spiders. I'm afraid of those. And then I also have a height phobia. That's self-explanatory. I do not like high, tall places. If you ever actually go to tour with me in my city in an apartment, if any time that we go out to the balcony, I do not go out there. If it's over 6 floors, period. I do not go up that high. I just stay in there. Nope, not going out there. Anyways, there's like the what makes it horror so intriguing is that it messes with your psychology. And as you said, Ned, it's the fact that you are alone. It makes you feel helpless because being alone means that you have no other help. That creates fear, all right? And another thing is not being able to see, which is like, which is what makes FNAF so effective. And it's that you don't know what's going on. It's that feeling of, it's like there's a monster there, but it's more effective if you cannot see him because it plays with your mind, if you get what I mean. Two perspective. One is that you can see the monster and it's a scary monster. And then another one is just pure darkness. Your mind plays a certain tricks on you. It's like, is there something there? Is there not? That uneasy feeling that you get from not being able to know what's out there, in my opinion, is far more scary than just seeing, okay, this is the monster. I know what it looks like. I know what to expect. If you get what I mean, right? So if you're going to develop those kind of games, then the darkness was purely not being able to see is one of the most effective things. Because I showed you yesterday, Ned, is that Madison, the game, that area. Yeah, this is one of those games where it, other than high phobia, it ticked all the boxes, like the jump scares, and then the pure darkness, being all alone, and it made me feel extremely claustrophobic, all of it. And if you guys are ballsy enough to play this game in VR, then I tip my hats off to you, because if you want to look on YouTube, I can promise you there's not many people playing it in VR. I'm one of the few. And I'm very proud of that.
Yes. The other world, the main location of my game, will indeed be very dark, which you have seen if you remember the teasers.
Uh-huh.
And yes, I will be going for a very, like, the atmosphere, I think, will carry the experience. That's what I'm mainly going for. Like, obviously there'll be, like, monsters and stuff and lore, but the atmosphere is going to be, like, one of the selling points, I think.
Well, hopefully.
And
If you're gonna make those kind of games, I gotta tell you, you have to focus more on the atmosphere more than your character. Again,
Yo.
you know, what's up, Squid?
Mr. Nutmeg. Got
What's
a
up?
question for you, man. So, boom, new game drops tomorrow. When
I know.
When you posting that video?
You're talking about
the new
Secrets
one.
of the Mimic.
Yeah.
As soon as it's ready. I'm probably not gonna play it for a bit because I still need to finish Five Nights at Wario's, the entire series. If you look here, let's see, YouTube recommendations, games to stream. Yeah, so
That game's
I
fun? The Wario one?
Five Nights at Wario's. Yeah, it was actually a lot more better than I thought. I thought it was just gonna be another
Because-
knockoff.
I got a buddy, me and him, like, we both make kind of like those horror game type videos, and we just kind of want to like move away from that Five Nights at Freddy's like crap. You know what I'm saying?
You're getting bored? You're getting FNAF fatigue?
Just a little bit. I mean, that's why I'm excited for the new one, because it's like actually free roam. It's not just like a sit
Oh no, it's free roam.
cameras type
Oh
of thing.
man, thanks Squid for spoiling it. Okay, it is free roam. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
but
Fine.
no. The trailer showed it. The trailer showed it. I swear.
I did not see a
swear.
single trailer. I only saw the teaser. Whatever. It's fine, man. It's
That's all
cool.
I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay,
Most
good.
of the recent games have been free roam, to be fair. We haven't really had a game where you're just in one room in a while.
It depends on what he means by free roam, first of all. And Squid, don't spoil anymore. So I can speculate now. Is it free roam like Security Breach? Or is it like free roam as in Madison, which is you're in one designated, or it's not Madison. Let's use Poppy Playtime. It's not exactly free roam, but it's still
no,
semi-open.
Yeah. It's like a new security breach. That's why I referenced it. where I was like, security breach with buns, in my opinion. So, what's it called? Yeah, so I hope they did better.
I hope they do too. As I told Ned, Security Breach Ruin was my last interaction with maybe like a, well, other than maybe Health Wanted 1 and 2, which I find to me they're just remakes of those classic games and made in VR. It's nothing too original.
This dude in my chat said that Secret of the Mimic is like GTA. You can free roam outside and steal cars and then you...
Guy's trolling, of course.
Yeah.
Guy's gotta be
This
trolled.
dude.
I wouldn't risk it. When GTA 6 releases, the mods are gonna go crazy. I wouldn't mind dressing up, playing as Freddy going around and stealing cars. That'd make some pretty viral video. I would love to see Freddy gutting people down and getting a blowjob in a car or something like that. That'd be hilarious. If they even allow that. Anyways, so yeah, I would check it out. But you gotta give me time to, because I'm on 3, right? Five Nights at Wario's 3. I got 2 more to go, and then I have to do Terraria, and then I gotta do Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4, and then I'll do Secrets of the Mimics.
Yeah, no, yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, so
I'm excited. You played Into the Pit?
I did, but I find the game very cool, but not scary, because it's 8-bit design. I can't exactly find those things too scary, and the story was like decent. And lastly, I find it a little bit too easy. The hiding spots was really, and you kind of knew what to do exactly,
Yeah, no, I like the art style though. That shit was so clean.
Oh, I agree.
So sick.
The art style was great.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think what's it called? That was probably one of my favorite games out of like the entire series, like for sure.
Oh yeah. It's just again, I find it a bit too easy. I love these kind of art styles. I'm a classic gamer. I like, this is why I've never been bothered with graphics. Undertale was these kind of graphics. Chrono Trigger. I can still play those kind of games. So it was a joy to see this kind of game being made in FNAF. See here, this is probably like one of the creepier ones, but this is like a cutscene. If you play this game, this is like if you are to hide, and then Spring Bonnie or Springtrap comes here, you have to, like, what is it, quick time event or something like that, and that's it. But after the first or second time you're seeing it, it becomes like, okay, I understand, I know what to do. Again, takes the creepiness factor out of it already. There's also, this is the only part where I found some kind of tension. The other part is like you kind of run away from Spring Bonnie, and that's what this game is kind of lacking in sort of ways. I don't mean to be saying that the game is bad. It's just when you play Five Nights at Freddy's, when the night starts, boom, you got 6 hours, right? First hour, kind of a gimme, and then later on, you're just like in that intense hour. Those 5 minutes where just like you're clutching. I was like, oh my god, it's 3. Okay, I can do this. 4 o'clock. Oh my god, I'm almost ready. 5, please go 6. You only get that for a short period of time with this game, which makes sense because this is like a semi-free roaming game as well, right? And you do get breaks. I know I went to a rant there, but that's just my opinion of the game. I still liked it. I just find it a little bit too easy, to say the least. That was probably my main issue, is just too easy.
Also, I want your...
Hey, I gotta head out, man. It's getting pretty late, but what's it called? Whenever you upload that video, bro, I'm gonna be on that. I'll be on that.
I'll let you know, Squid. Thanks. You're welcome to join when I play it, and tell me how bad I'm playing. That would be sick.
Oh, but you're gonna stream it?
Yeah, of course. I stream every day, man. This is what I like to do. Is just that I do different things. Like today, it started out with me cooking fried rice. Yesterday, I was doing like risotto and stuff. So just to
crazy because I be at work and like I'm in the Air Force, so it's like it's kind of hard to like fucking post and do all this stuff like all the time. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll be sitting at work and dude, you upload like 5 videos a day, stream every day. It's kind of wild.
No, I stream right now, depending on where you are. I stream at around 7 o'clock p.m. So I'm in real estate, so I have a very flexible schedule. I
that's fire.
help people. Yeah, I help people buy or sell houses. Market's not so great right now, but you know, people don't look at houses around 6 o'clock at near like in the afternoon. That just doesn't happen. We don't show houses when it's dark because it's for personal safety reasons. That is a standard in our business.
No,
So
yeah,
when
that's fire.
yeah, so when I come back, my stream is really just. I'm not a particular gamer to say. I just like chatting a lot. So this is why my stream evolved from just playing games, because I know exactly what you're going through. Because I had FNAF fatigue as well as gaming fatigue as well. I was like, I don't really want to play games. I just want to chill and relax. But if I'm able to do, and I do shorter streams, usually an hour to 2, unless the game is really good. But if I was able to get you guys on board, because if it's just watching games, I don't particularly find it all that interesting. But if I was able to, be able to talk to y'all, and you guys can contribute in some way, because it gets you guys involved, then I find that a little bit more interesting, especially considering the fact that if I'm playing horror games, and you guys can try and jump me, I think that's a pretty interesting thing. And but yeah, just talking with people like this, because this is the thing though, Squid. A lot of people advise me against doing an open chat, right? Because it could lead to, well, some people coming in troll. But I never minded that. I'm good at talking. Why do you think I'm in real estate? So, I'd rather do just chatting. So whatever I do, like Ned said from yesterday, he doesn't care what game I play or what things I cook with. It's more just a hangout session. So we're hanging out, and he's like a friend in the back watching me play a game or, seeing me cook. But it's just giving the viewers a very good vibe that I think that a lot of streamers don't give anymore, because they're either just playing games or they're just doing reactionary content or just being extremely loud, overreact. I want to do something just a little bit more shorter streams and give people a vibe of like having friends again. Oh, no offense, but my friends are having kids, so I miss the feeling of having my friends over or just chilling for a while and talking about how our day is. So if you came into my stream, you shared the fact that you're in the Air Force. I was in the military too, by the way. I was in the Army
sick.
Reserve.
Wait, what? Oh, you're
Yeah,
in the reserve? Dude, that's sick.
I was in the reserve, but I got medically discharged. And after that,
Me too. I'm getting out pretty soon.
you really? Well, you don't have to worry about going to war with my country, China, though.
Oh yeah, not at all. It's kind of wild though, cause I got stationed I got stationed in Texas. Then
You're in Texas?
I mean,
So am I.
I was. So I
Hood?
was in Texas for a little bit. San Antonio. I was in San Antonio.
I see.
And then I got I got stationed in Colorado, so that's where I'm at right now. And then I just got orders to Japan.
Ooh,
But
Okinawa then.
yeah.
Okay.
I know it's pretty. Yeah, Okinawa. Yeah, it's pretty sick. But I just got medically retired, so I'm probably not gonna go. But that's fine. I mean, dude, VA. Oh my god, that's free FNAF game money.
Well, that's all I'm saying is that yeah, I'll stream every day. If you ever feel like just having someone to talk to or listen to as a background, that's what Ned's having to do, and you can contribute. You can come in and chat or just can hang out, whatever. I think it's just basically making if I make this community a little bit bigger, because I was out for a while due to some personal tragedy, then I would much appreciate it. Just come out, hang out, and chill with us. That'd be great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm about to head out. Y'all have a good night though, and I'm sure I'll talk to y'all again soon.
Thanks, Squid. See you later. Bye.
I bet later, y'all.
Ned, still there?
Anyway, yeah, I'm still here.
Good.
I've been wanting your opinion on something regarding my game. Okay, so there's going to be more locations than just like the other world. Small locations because, well, obviously you need to start somewhere. Like going to like the main player character's house, and I want your opinion on how you think that looks. I posted 6 images of that in video
Go
game
smoothly.
stuff. It's nothing too special, just the house of the main player character, the inside.
Well, I can't comment on a game without seeing it. You know what I mean? It's like you're.
Yeah,
It's like
visually, I want to know if it looks.
I
Like,
can't.
wait.
Gaming is special. You have to experience it. Then I can give you my opinion. Because if you're just telling me what it's going to be, you never know. Because I mean, there's a chance that you could change your mind. You could change things in there, right? Then it could be obsolete with what you're saying right now. And what you're describing is more visual and going from place to place. But I can't exactly understand that without actually having it, having my hands on it. So
Yeah,
you can
that-
give me the
yeah.
concept. I would say, great, that sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. But the only advice I would tell you is probably, even though I'm not a game developer, is that some of the best games and the best stories are usually like the simplest. Just keep it very, very simple. And simplicity and barriers breeds creativity. You know, just don't overthink it, or don't think that you have to do this because it's the meta. Just start off with what you have. It doesn't matter if your game stays in one place, goes to multiple locations. What you have to understand is just what is the core aspect of this game, and what are you trying to achieve with it. It's a horror game, so I assume that you want to scare me, which is great. You just have to understand what makes a game scary. What is the psychology of a person? You want to disempower me, not being able to see, low health, one hit KO, phobias, all this other stuff. You can say that it makes people ick. So just start with there, and then go all out. I give you my opinion based on what I see in your art, but that's only, like, I would say maybe 10% of the overall work. What's more important is the atmosphere, the lore, and just go from one step at a time. And FNAF, believe it or not, as I told you, is a puzzle game, but it's a very simple puzzle game. If you were to give me FNAF as a game without the scary monsters, and just tell me the formula, as in this enemy 1 attacks you from the left around this time, enemy 2 attacks you from the right around this time, then I've already kind of solved it. So it's a puzzle game. But what makes it interesting is just really the atmosphere and not giving you any sort of direction, and you have to figure it out yourself. That's great. That it works with the lore and it works with the gameplay. You know, it makes them seem a little bit seamless. That's all I have for you, my man.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I was just wondering how you think the atmosphere of the house location is, and just purely visually, just like if you were looking at one of my art pieces.
Well, I looked at your art already. It's that I think that it might be good that you're going into the kid-friendly, as in mascot horror, section, because you're drawing a lot of characters, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you able to do all of them? Are you able to do the gameplay for all of them, or are they just purely for visuals? And then there's also the fact that is it what kind of gameplay is it? Is it like click and point, which you said it is? So it's kind of like a visual novel type play. If that's the case, then that's fine. But knowing that, you have to either give me a very messed up lore. When I told you about Doki Doki Literature Club, right? The gameplay is very simple, point and click, choices, dialogues, and stuff. But what makes it even more unique is that it actually hacks your PC a little bit, and that made me extremely uncomfortable. As in, the Monica actually spoke to me, as in he calls me by my real name, Colin. And then there's potential doxing. That's a different kind of gameplay, but it also adds a certain amount of creepiness to it, So.
Okay, yeah. But what I posted is in video game stuff, and again, it's images of a location in my horror game. I want to know what you think about the atmosphere and stuff, like visually.
All right, I'm looking at it right now.
And like again, it's nothing special. It's just a house.
No, that's fine. I don't mind it because you can see that you cannot see too far away. I would say make this a little bit darker. So see the darkness, make it a little bit more dark right here. Make it only you can see maybe a few feet. That's one. That's an easy way to get me more uncomfortable. And I would say, I'm guessing these are.
It's mainly just supposed to be a starting location for the player, before the actual like horror like stuff comes up. If that makes any sense.
So this is
Like,
your
obviously,
home. This is your house, your hut, right?
The bottom images, yeah.
Okay. Because I would say this probably scares me or creeps me out just a little bit more than this. If you can believe that. Because if I look at this, it just looks normal. Or if I look at this means danger. My guard is already up. And, this is already telling me, hey, there's something wrong with this place. Here, if I'm looking at this, it tells me everything is fine. Everything is normal. It's just as a real estate agent, by the way, I must say I hate your wall color design because I absolutely think this is trash. Whoever has purple wallpaper in their room is absolutely vile. That's just me. Same thing with red. Okay, but then again, you got a green couch, which this is. If I were to show this house, this is probably some stupid wannabe hippie. This is what I would think. If since I'm an agent, the kitchen looks nice. It's fine, but this takes me off my guard. So if you can make this creepy, not creepier, as in like make it a little bit more dark, and then I don't know if you're seeing those Silent Hill games where they walk in a circle or whatever. It's like a loop, and then as the more times you walk, the rooms get darker and weirder. Like the picture could be like this in the when you first go in, and then the next one you see it could be like this. That gives me a certain amount of uncertainty, like what's happening. And then you start ramping up the tension here, up and up and up and up. But I'm just giving you my opinion that I do find this a little bit more unsettling. Well, this, other than the wall color paper, that offends me, and if anything else. If you can make this a little bit into something else, but because I don't know what the gameplay is. Is it a monster chasing you? Do you have a way to defend yourself, or can you only run away and hide? I assume that here there's a gun, so maybe you can pick it up and shoot.
Okay, so here's the thing. With the house, it's just made for a starting location, if that makes any sense. It's not supposed to be like an actual dangerous location.
Okay.
It's where the player starts their journey, and then the horror begins in the other world where there's actual threats to run from.
So is there a way to defend myself? Is it hiding, running away? And is the only way?
Only running and hiding. That's it.
Okay.
And
If that's the case, then it could be good that if you add a stamina bar for the running part. And because with those kind of games where it's basically security breach, they find you, you run away and hide in certain areas. It is actually pretty easy for me to figure these kind of games out because I kind of mess with the AI. It's like, what can they see? What can they not see? It's like if they chase you here, if, for example, my character is here and the threat is over there. If I turn to the left or to my right and I hide in, let's say there's a locker here, does that mean they lost me? Or can they actually still hear me? I have to be a certain distance away from them. This is where the game, you're gonna run into a couple of trouble because you're gonna have to design an AI in a way that is fair but at the same time, not brain dead. You know what I mean? And then you could be running into a few hiccups with that, because I know that's kind of hard. But I'm not a game developer though.
But yeah, it would definitely be a purely visual thing. Monster sees you, you either run and try to lose it, or you find a hiding spot. And
Okay.
it's off your track for now. Because I personally find sections like that in horror games, I find them kind of unnerving.
The chasing?
Like not knowing when where a threat is, and if there's a hiding spot nearby.
Ah, I see. Well then, if those kind of game, then usually the way I look at it, look at it from I play in a more tactical way. If I'm not scared, I probably go from, like, say you can only hide in the trash can. I probably go from trash can to trash can, you know, in a way to trying to outsmart the AI. So just be careful with it. All I'm saying is that just try and keep it simple. I'd say the atmosphere is actually quite good, but you're telling me that this is a safe haven. Okay, no problem. But it's here,
Yep.
then yeah, I can get behind this.
Yeah, I'm happy the atmosphere is good. I've tried my best to make it as spooky as I can, with like shadows and stuff like that.
The less you see, the worse, the scarier it is. But at the same time, you don't want to make the player blind to the point where it's becoming unfair. So there's always a certain balance between these things.
Yeah,
Okay. Hey, the fact that you're able to make all this is already impressive. I'm gonna guess this game might be around. If I were to see this game on itch.io, I probably assume that it's gonna be around 15 to 30 minutes long. Is that what you're aiming at?
yeah, that sounds about accurate. Yes.
Okay. All right. Then I look forward to it whenever it's ready. So take your time.
Yes.
And keep me updated. Although if you do, try to. You're also spoiling it for me, by the way. So it's a double-edged sword.
I will. I'm not going to spoil anything big within the game itself, but little minor updates, yes, I will do.
I see. Hey, Cakes, welcome.
Like, even in the teasers, they don't really reveal too much. Like, obviously, you can see the environment design and the atmosphere, but not too much spoiled.
Okay. I have no advice for you when it comes to putting it on Steam or itch.io though. Although I think this kind of game, based on what I've seen, it's probably better if you this is something I expect on itch.io. Is that where you're trying to put it on?
It's a Roblox experience.
Oh, Roblox, got it.
And
All right.
also,
I'll see if I can get my account back then, since everyone wants me on there.
And honestly, I think that the fact that it's not immediately obvious that it's a Roblox experience from what you said, I think that's a plus.
Yeah, now I'm looking at closely. This is fine. It's obviously Roblox, but I didn't pick up on it immediately. It's actually a good thing. This is clearly first person, right? Am I able to see Roblox arm at all?
I've said this before, it will be a single player first person experience where you won't really be able to see your body at all.
Okay, that's fine then. That's good. So this is an action stealth game. Then
Yes,
I expect you put some kind of puzzles, as in you need to go to the kitchen, pick up the key, in order to and then go to the bedroom or somewhere, and to unlock the case or something like that, and then get the code for something There you go. I'm assuming that's what you're trying to do, right?
Yes, a very objective, focused game with threats and stuff like that.
Okay, so is this gonna be like a challenge one, where it's like, hey, you got about 5 minutes to get from this place to this place, and is there a checkpoint?
Oh yes, there will be a good bit of checkpoints, so the game is fair.
Okay.
Because I don't really like game. I don't think anyone really likes bad checkpoints or games that don't have any at all.
All right.
Like the games where you die and then you get kicked out of the experience and you have to redo everything.
No,
I
that
don't
makes
really
sense. All right. Then I see. Because if you're telling me it's a 10 to 15 minute experience, then it's like either a one level game or it's like a gauntlet. As in like, hey, you got the keys and that's checkpoint, and then once you need to get the keys to go here to get the codes, that's checkpoints 2, gauntlet 2. And then as you get, and it's like gauntlet 1 you have one monster chasing you, monster 2 you got 2, etc, etc. That's what I am assuming with this game. Because if that's the case, then maybe it probably doesn't have that much of a story. Is that right? Because it's hard to get involved in a very deep story with just 15 minutes of gameplay. That's quite tough.
Be more like 30 minutes because you suggested 15 to 30 minutes, so it'll be more like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And there will be like a story similar to like Poppy Playtime where you have the main player's story and then there's like stuff in the background of like
Okay.
what happened.
I'm assuming it's going to be delivered to you by nodes, right?
Yes, as you can see it above those images, there is a note.
It's always creepy as hell down here. I keep seeing the silhouettes of a little girl in the distance. Luckily, Damien is always more than happy to be by my side. He's one of the only people out here I've actually formed a connection with. By Sam. All right. I didn't want to read that. I didn't mean to read that part. I was like, hopefully that is not your name. I didn't mean to dox you.
I would never I would never dox myself in my own video game.
Okay, that's good. I was like, should I have read that last part? Hopefully that's not your name. All right, that's cool. All right, then I look forward to whenever it's complete. Based on what I'm seeing, depending on how many levels you want to do, maybe this is a second level. Say this is a safe space, so maybe you want to keep it to around 2 to 3 levels. So I'm guessing you have 2 or 3 more of these to show me, and then after that you're going to work on the gameplay because that was the environment. Maybe this game is about, I don't want to say it, but 33% done, around there, 1/3. Is it?
I again don't really feel comfortable revealing stuff like that, you
All right.
know.
All right.
Until absolutely. But there will be about like 3 levels. Technically, I don't know, the third one is a bit different from the first 2. And when I say
Then one
levels,
last
I mean,
question for you, and this is probably the most important one. Since it's a Roblox game, right? Roblox? You're gonna force me to buy some Robux for additional lives and all that stuff?
No. There will be set checkpoints where if you die, you will go to the checkpoint and you can just carry on with the experience. Just fine.
Okay. Alrighty. Then this is a one-time experience then, right?
Yes.
Alright. So 30 minutes. Okay, I can dig that. Alright, we'll see then.
Spooky.
I'm guessing that's you, Cakes? Or is that... There's Seabass, you're back. Welcome. Man. Yeah, no, you did not jump scare me. But maybe tomorrow you will, since I'll be playing Wario. I'll keep this... How do you guys like this, by the way? If I'm just cooking and chatting, it seems to be like you guys are enjoying it. At the same time,
Yeah.
I can at least, you know, if I play a game, I can also talk as well. Maybe not as fluidly like this, because you guys have my full attention. But if I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's, you guys can either troll me or keep me chatting. Actually, that might add a level of difficulty. I'm gonna try and do that.
I enjoy the just chatting segments, especially with the voice chat. I think it's a good time.
Sounds good. I might have hit something then. You guys enjoyed it, and I couldn't believe that Squid and Joey actually came in and talked to me. So, well, at least hopefully you had a good time tonight, right, Ned?
Yeah, I did. I liked it.
All right,
Good
good.
times.
And it's been almost 2 hours of just chatting, which I enjoyed, by the way. I loved it. I'll see you tomorrow. If you have stuff to do, don't worry about it. But if not, then feel free to come back and have a good chat. All right.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this little podcast. I'll be back tomorrow with Five Nights at Wario's, and I'll see you guys around 7 o'clock. Have a good night.